So we were just hit with a juicy unvault, one that could make you a lot of platinum in the future. Just like any other unvault, we always want to make sure we make as much platinum as we can. So I wanted to make a guide for relics, but one that specifically only focuses on the unvaulted relics, since these values never change in drop tables. This guide should not go out of date in any means. And in the same breath, I also wanted to talk about how we tested and learned to optimize these farms through a recent relic farming event. Before I get into it, if you enjoy the video or it helps in any way, make sure to check that subscribe button even if you've done so before. Only a small percentage of viewers are subscribed, so if you could just give it a look, it would mean a lot. Thanks everyone, back to the video. The event I'm talking about was named Rhino Eternal. This event was held in the VRC Discord and was intended to encourage users to farm as many Unvault relics as they could in a 2-week period. Something fun to do, with lots of profit later. Smiles all round. However, Warframe is a community of min-maxes. While originally I was expecting everyone to be running Ukko and Hepet about 24/7, I was not expecting us to find farms triple as efficient as what was originally planned. On the screen there is a time if you wish to skip how we found and learnt about these farms, but I do highly suggest watching how we got to that stage. But the time is there for you. So starting on day 1 of the event was spent mostly farming Ukko and Hepet. That's what most of us expect to be the most efficient farm, as these are of course the best places to farm relics in general. But if you think about it, these locations are great for general relics. But since we're farming for specific relics like the unvaulted ones, the drop tables are full of so much extra stuff that we can actually make it better doing something else. Ukko and Hepet you can expect a Rhino relic once in about 10 minutes on average, just for reference. So moving on to day 2, we wanted to try something different. We realized the potential of Fortuna bounties, specifically finding a bounty that gave fast missions, leading to quick times and farms, and specifically picking this over Cetus. Unfortunately, Cetus has a very low drop chance for relics compared to other worlds. We did have some luck finding good bounties on Fortuna with good objectives. Farming this method brought us to 1 Rhino relic, let's say every 8 minutes, which is alright, and of course it would be fine. The issue is that Fortuna currently at the time of recording has a bug which causes a lot of the good bounties to be kinda bad. If you get a bounty that has a spy vault as one of the objectives, you cannot revote up that same bounty while remaining in Fortuna. If you do, the spy vault can spawn in the same location, and if it does this, the game then soft locks, making it unable to complete the bounty, and then you don't get your stuff. Without this issue, this farm would be a relic every 5 to 6 minutes. This oversight and weird bug is what caused us to continue looking for a better option. So on day 3, we started getting into more of a groove with efficient farming, and we started using Deimos. Deimos in itself is very unique, boasting better relic drop chances, as well as better bounty rewards for almost every single tier, including higher endo, Kuva, and a standing system that means farming today means less farming tomorrow with the mother tokens. All this combined prompted the community to start looking at Deimos as a viable option for Rhino Unvault farming. Voting up bounties in general, more specifically the tier 3 to 5 range, gives around 1 relic every 6 minutes-ish. While slower than Fortuna at a max Fortuna speed, Deimos has no such soft locking bug and gives a large amount of other rewards at the same time. For this very reason, I would suggest focusing Deimos, and that is exactly what the community ended up doing. Moving on to the next few days, we continue to optimize Deimos more and more, finding that 2 players in a squad is actually faster than solo, with the objective goals being a little bit higher but the mob spawns being much better. However, playing with 3 to 4 players in a squad actually starts making it slower than if you were solo. This is because the changes in the objectives versus the mob spawn changes actually gets a little outbalanced. We also found that objectives like Hive and Tumors are the very best ones to do in time sense. Secondary to this are samples and the corpus guy that can spawn. Finding bounties with these objectives, specifically Tumor and Hives, were now the focus of the testing. With all the extra optimizing, we are looking at 1 relic every 4 to 5 minutes with these farms. Now, the entire relic community was in a testing mood, trying to find every little inch of speed they could get in this race to the finish. So when Warframe dropped the Ghoul Purge, the event that 99% of the community really didn't care about, it was more than a surprise when we tested it and found it to be the most efficient farm we had come across by absolute miles. Basically, looking at the drop tables for Ghoul Purge, the first stage of the base bounty has a 33% chance to drop the Neo Unvaulted relic, or a 1 in 3. Now unfortunately this chance does drop for further stages in the bounty, so we needed to think of a way to keep our chances of drops high. So what we would do is we would roll the bounty. This means entering Cetus and voting up the bounty, seeing what the objectives were, and if it was too slow we would leave Cetus and then come back. Doing so resets the objectives for these bounties, and it's a very commonplace practice for some bounty farming. So we roll the bounty for either a capture or a rescue as our first target, that being something that can be completed extraordinarily quickly. And we wanted our second objective of this bounty to be something that we can abandon or fail at a very fast rate too. Failing means the bounty ends, and we can just vote it up again. While intended to make sure that you stay in bounties, or let you leave if you don't want to continue, we can also use this to help our farm. Rolling for capture and rescue, and then abandon is extraordinarily quick. Going into the end of the first week, this setup was allowing us to quote unquote complete bounties for Ghoul Purge in about 45 seconds. Now this with a lot of practice. However, it's still very good even without practice. To make this even faster, because yes, we can still make it faster, the margin for improvement may be getting smaller, but we can still make it better. We can use Vault for this. Vault's second ability is his speed buff, and it actually impacts the Arcwing's ability in movement, which will help you move around Cetus faster and in turn, make the bounties more quick. To add on to that, running Wisp if you've got a teammate allowed us to use the haste mode to improve this speed even further, combining both Vault's second ability and the haste mode. If you put all of this together, Ghoul Purge bounties on average were being complete in about 40 seconds. At a 33% drop chance, this means we're getting a Rhino relic every 2 minutes, which is actually so insane. If this mission was around all the time, I would not be surprised if it got nerfed or changed to prevent this style of farming. However, unfortunately, Ghoul Purge is, of course, an event, and it did have to come to a close. However, this means, at least for us relic farmers, Ghoul Purge, for the future, is something that we look forward to, which is a very weird thing to say about Ghoul Purge. With this event over, testing for Deimos did continue. Rolling bounties to find good objectives became standard practice, especially looking for hives and tumors. Since we are only looking for relic numbers, not specific types, most of the people in the event only farmed Meso. However, for general Rhino farming, Deimos at any tier is a decent farm for these relics. As of now, the event is over. Over the course of the 2 weeks, the 37 different participants farmed over 30,000 Rhino relics, which averages to about 810 relics per person, which is not too bad of an effort if I do say so myself. But seeing this amount, you can definitely see with the methods that we have tested and come up with, if you want Rhino relics whether for yourself, to sell, or to farm sets to sell, we got you with efficient farms. So it's time to drop them one by one so you know exactly what to farm and where. So we'll start with Lith. For Lith relics, unfortunately bounties are very inefficient due to low drop chances and bad bounties. This means Hepit remains steadfast and strong as the best farm for Unvaulted relics. In this case, Rhino relics. For future players looking back, these drop rates do not change and Lith relics will always be best to be farmed in Hepit. For Meso relics, Deimos bounties are the most efficient for a very long while. Rolling bounties until you can get hives and tumors can get you an incredible farm. Fortuna can be good, but Deimos is so consistent it's only worth farming on Deimos in my opinion. Moving on to Neo, this one has a little bit more wiggle room. For Neo, I still personally recommend Deimos. Deimos is just so much better for consistency, and on the side you get some great rewards. However, it is at a Neo level where Fortuna does catch up to Deimos slightly. Rolling a good Fortuna bounty without a spy mission could be as good or better than Deimos. So at this point you have those two options for Neo relic farming. Axie opens up even further. Deimos is still the most efficient, looking at one relic every 5 to 6 minutes maybe. Fortuna can be faster in this case with a good bounty, but with worse extra rewards. And Cetus, look, you could farm Cetus, it's relaxing, but the drop chances are so much lower that I still could not recommend Cetus as a Axie farming location for you. If you ever really can't be bothered with these, remember that Ukko and Hepit are still really good, especially if you want other relics too. But if you are farming for Axie, bounties are the only good way to farm them. Remember, farming unvaults for a profit is a fantastic idea. You farm the relics up, wait a while, and then the profit starts rolling in. I did speak a lot about bounties in this video. There are a lot of weird interactions and mechanics in bounties, and I'm planning to do a full guide video on that exactly. going into all these mechanics and the behind the scenes of how it all works. While it sounds weird, the knowledge from bounties will greatly help you in farming, and so I highly recommend checking in on the YouTube channel for that. Alongside that, in the coming month I will be making a tool, specifically to show players how each bounty works and expected times and whatnot, so be ready for that as well. I hope that this video has taught you some things about the Unvault relic farming, or maybe the relic event was interesting to you yourself. Either way, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to smash that like button if you did. Thanks to everyone for the constant support on the YouTube. It's growing at an absolutely incredible rate, and it's all thanks to you guys. I will continue to push out content when I can. Much love, Robo out.